What is going on, my people? Welcome back to the channel for another album review. I'm your boy Nassim the Dream. If you're new to the channel, just go right on ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell as well to always keep notified on my newest content. And today I will be reviewing the new Black MIDI album, Hellfire. This is the latest installment from English rock band Black MIDI, coming out of London, consisting of members of Georgie Green on lead vocals and guitar, Cameron Picton on bass, synths, and vocals, Morgan Simpson on drums, with collaborators Seth Evans and Katie Akambiki on the sax and keys. Black MIDI is fond of experimenting with elements of avant-garde, experimental rock, post-rock, prog-rock, punk music. In a simple way of putting it, this band is one of the most advanced forms of art rock you could ever hear. My first discovery of the band started with their 2019 record Schlagenheim. Quite frankly, not only is this the first ever material I've heard from the band, but it also may have been one of the initial introductions for me personally into avant-garde genre. When observing the quality, contrast, overall talent that the band possesses, it is really hard to believe that this is their debut record, since I found the technicality of what the band puts into their mind-bending qualities, into their music, has already been highly impressive for me personally, even just with the first listen. But then following this, we received the 2021 full-length record, the sophomore LP Cavalcade, which is clearly the stepping stone for the band based off this play. Just by judging from tracks such as John L. or Slow or even The Throne, there is obviously something cosmic about the band's formula making music that has the immediate gratitude with just these two records. But now we have the triad with Hellfire, and whoa. This record is a lot. This project wastes zero time with the immediate touch of the first track, Hellfire, that's just dazzling the listener by breaking this fourth wall with mind-boggling crescendos and undertones that are layered to the very last small gap into this mix. And I mean to the very, very small gap. There is just things flying all over the place, filling every single point of space you can even imagine is even on the mix. Not only is it hard to comprehend how much layering and work into the production with their sound design and the recordings of just some random samples, but also completing a very well executed plan to make this feel like such a great beginning. Especially when transitioning with Sugar Sue, that gives off this sample of like this major boxing pay-per-view-esque announcer inclusion, which after darting through this first sequence of the record becomes absolutely necessary due to the pummeling speed these songs accelerate at. Blending right into what appears to be some smooth jazz lines, spiraling into the race of arpeggios without warning that curls into the sound, resembling some kind of incredible scene in my head that you really can't picture without this sound. But man, it's badass, dude. Because then we appear to shift into something that I like to view as like some kind of soap opera take with the song Eat Men Eat. This song incorporating rhythmic clapping and piano stabs. Not only does the song continue on with the absolute chaos upholding into the play, but a story that almost is sort of weird or disturbing. With this song specifically, it entails that this captain is poisoning his crew that attempts to be also looking for their friends when they realize that their captain is the one that maybe had killed them. Played off into the lyricism, almost seems like they're like hallucinating at that point. Or even with the track Welcome to Hell, that follows off this narrative of a man that's at war, suffering from PTSD, and eventually is discharged from his commanding officer. Or even with the dark track Dangerous Liaisons, that's about like committing some kind of mafia murder, which was tempted by the words of a strange man that's apparently Satan. But it's really hard to digest the concept just based off the listen without going to look up the lyrics on your own, because of this wall of Hellfire rock music that is insisting of so much style and critique beyond observation. I'm already sucked in with this hypnotic rhythm leads by electric guitars and descending chirping into a direct hit to another multiverse or something like that. Because even with a bit of confusion, or mainly what I like to describe as the dizzying effect that these songs have, I'm actually thrilled with the wave of dynamic horn sections that burst through the mix as well, along with the infectious drum lines pumping the adrenaline double the capacity. Observing the track Welcome to Hell, this instrumental really spirals into something transforming into some kind of utter destruction and just pretty much a brief chaos of fast-paced rock music. And then we reach the track Still that almost falls into like some straight up bluegrass number or like some kind of folk ballad that reminds me a lot of something that you would hear from like the middle point or beginning point of Stairway to Heaven from Led Zeppelin. On top of that, it's also gaining momentum in the center of the time lap into more moments of oddball crescendos up along this tune. It feels like you just fall deeper into this void that sounds, again, slightly similar to something of like old rock music, like something from Dark Side of the Moon, with its dreamy pianos and clean acoustics that hum under this nightlight of flute passages and outdoor background noise. It's a song to me that is absolutely perfect to the somewhat conclusion of the first act of the record, which altogether, like I mentioned, really does have that Stairway to Heaven type of effect, but definitely upped with the adrenaline. Because then when we reach the halfway point, we get to half times, which is pretty much just set out to create this scene, some kind of fourth wall broken when you hear a radio being switched to a different channel, which then lands into this clear signal by a radio host named Radio Raheem, which I'm not sure if it actually ties into the character from Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. But after this whole thing kicks right back up again with the noise rock already to begin that is essentially an overload, a sensory overload of spoken word of prog rock, continuously getting faster and faster with its lyrics and instrumentation. Because I want to mention, while getting through that beginning sequence to the second half, I did like the randomness to it a little bit, but in contrast with the entire second half of it, it almost feels like this hyper moment doesn't really belong in this half, because this entire second half is practically made up with its now focused idea of progressing jazz and rock and avant-garde and folk music. I really do enjoy this like cooling come down of the record onto the second half after just being pummeled and just it's really hard to explain what the fuck happened. But just getting onto the song, The Defense, I am really enjoying this tune, which altogether just really blends into this beautiful ballad of traditional pop and folk music that vocally screams the influence of David Bowie. But then when everything comes to a finish, we reach the very strong closer to 27 Questions. This song ponders exactly that by starting on with the first step of experimental rock music, then with the second switches sound back into traditional pop, and then some jazz and folk music. It really is just the headstrong finish that this record surely needed. I really feel like this record was difficult, and I mean difficult, to break down. There is so many different sounds and samples and instrumentation. It's uncomprehendable that this was made by man. What a record. What a maddening, chaotic, soothing, and well thought out project. It's already incredible enough for the band to continuously release LPs that gradually continue to get better and better. They were already on a hot streak with just their first 2 LPs, but to extend it with Hellfire, it's nuts. It's fucking nuts. With the influences of avant-garde, experimental rock, prog rock, etc., all of them fuse into something so magical, so majestic, such an experience that is punishing in a way that only a band like Black Midi can achieve. This album in the first half is just so mind-boggling, dizzying, but it's also enchanting in a way. As if I couldn't help that I actually felt like I needed this slower breakdown because of me literally falling insane. I needed to chill out with this second half. It was such a relief from that sensory overload. It's a perfect combination. I felt like I had zero oxygen going through my body at this moment in the first half. And I mean that in the most complimentary way possible. I'm just filled with joy that bands like this can exist, because man, it is just not like any other day or any other album that you will get from a band that is this bizarre, this well crafted, this well produced, this well thought out. The ideas, man, are just beyond expectations, beyond ethereal cosmic being levels, and I'm just loving this project. I'm gonna have to give the band Black Midi's Hellfire a 92%. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoy it, go and like, share, comment down below, and if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. Down in the description, you see all the separate tracklist ratings I have for the album, more videos, and also the links to my social media accounts so you can keep on me on the daily. And I'm gonna catch you in the next one.